Hello, everyone. I hope you all are having a great day, night, evening, etc. Today, the tea I have brought to you, the tea I have chosen to speak about today, is a special type of tea hailing once again from Yunnan province. Yunnan province is one of my favorite tea producing places in China because of the sheer variety that one can find. And the tea that I have for you today is a Banzhang raw pu'er tea. But before we delve into Banchang and its, of course, properties, let me just cover some bases on raw pu'er. Raw pu'er or shengcha, unlike our familiar green teas, which are pan-fired to halt the oxidation process, or black teas, which are fully oxidized, raw pu'er is defined by its potential to transform over time. Its journey begins very similarly to that of green tea. It is first subjected to a kale green stage, a cha ching stage, in which freshly plucked large leaves from the Camellia sinensis var. Assamica tree are briefly heated, traditionally in a wok, to deactivate the enzymes and halt unwanted oxidation of the leaf. This preserves the leaves' vibrant green character at first. It then undergoes a rolling stage, the Rokian stage. The withered leaves are gently rolled, and this allows the cell structures of the leaf to be broken down, which then releases compounds which are essential for flavor and aiding in shaping the leaves as well. Then the tea is sun dried. It's very crucial to pay attention in this stage as the leaves are dried under the intense Yunnan sun. This slow natural desiccation is believed to inoculate the leaves with ambient microflora vital for its later evolution. The result is a term that I have used before, Mao Cha, rough tea. This is the foundational material of pu'er tea. Matcha can be drunk immediately. It can be drunk by itself without any sort of issue, and it offers a very potent, often bitter and astringent but fresh green tea-like experience, but with a bit more edge. However, the true magic of Sheng Cha, of raw tea, unfolds when this matcha is compressed into cakes, like the one that you see in the thumbnail of this video. So, as you can appreciate, let me move the teapot. I heated the teapot so it's still a bit hot. Let me show you up close. Let me show you up close the leaves. It overall has very large, very very shapely leaves, and it has acquired this color. This tea is from around 2019, so it is still, when I mean 2019, I mean it was compressed into a cake in 2019. So it's still on the younger side of things. But it still may have mellowed out just enough to appreciate some of the subtle nuances of aged tea. So let me put this here. Let me just settle in my makeshift tea funnel just to make it easier to put inside of the teapot. Let me put this aside here. Let me focus back. There we go. Okay. So once again, let me offer you a glance of the tea so that you can appreciate its shape. They are very whole leaves. There isn't a lot of broken material in this tea cake, which I think is a sign of quality. The overall material looks very good. There are not many twigs, so to speak of, and there are a decent amount of buds in this tea cake. That, of course, it's not an absolute sign of quality of the tea, but it does provide me a good feeling of the tea. Now, I have had this tea many times before. It is probably one of the bings or tea cakes that I have consumed the most so far. But today I am going to drink it as slowly as possible and offer all the feedback I can. There are certain characteristics of this tea that are inherent to the area it comes from, as Banchang is within the Bulangshan tea mountain area, and teas that hail from this mountain area, which is located within Menghai County in Sichuanbana Prefecture, are known for their rather strong, bold, smoky flavor. So let's go ahead and pour this inside. Let me do it slowly just to make sure that it all goes without. Oh, oh boy. A few came out. Just make sure that it all fits inside. Yeah, look at those long, wiry leaves. That is overall a good quality material as far as I'm aware. Okay, there we go. And finally, let me just put these leaves that I left outside. Okay. Let me begin with a rinse, as it's important to rinse these. Very often I will rinse these. There are certain teas like white and green tea that I don't typically rinse whenever I make them in a way that's, in a small teapot. But when it comes to pu'er, when it comes to black, when it comes to many oolongs, I do make a rinse. And if it's, for example, a very compressed tea cake, because there are certain tea cakes that come in a very, very compressed way, then yes, I will rinse them and perhaps even leave them for a longer amount of time just to make sure that the water creeps and makes its way inside the deepest crevices of the leaves. So let's begin. Okay, it'll just be a very brief pour. Pour in, pour out, and we just press, and there we go. I will not taste the rinse. I don't think it'll taste of much, but as you can see, even though I have rinsed the tea, and even though it is still a very a very fast rinse, it still comes out with a color in itself. Let me show you. Give me one moment. Yeah, here we go. Look at the color of the liquor. If I can properly make it look, it has a very golden-like color, which I think it's quite nice. Now let me pour this aside. Within Menghai County, there are also many other very notable tea mountains, such as Shan, which is often considered a gateway for Menghai Pu'er. We have Mengsong Mountain, which is very well known for the village of Naka, which produces some excellent, very, very premium tea. We have the areas of Hekai and Pasha, the areas of Badangshan, and the focus of today, Bulangshan. Very well. Let's begin with our first infusion of this tea. Let's see what awaits us. And so let me pour in slowly. Just make sure. There we go. I think that'll be enough for now. And look at the color it has acquired now. The color has deepened in hue. It's now a bit more dark. It's slightly more, it's kind of like a champagne color, at least. From my eyes, it looks like a sort of champagne color. Perhaps in the camera it doesn't look like that, but to my eyes it looks like that. Now let's smell the tea. Let's get some of those notes, the aroma of the tea. Okay, I'm smelling the lid. And I'm getting a very diverse mix of scents. There is a bit of a slight pungent, a fruity taste. Well, not taste, a smell from inside. There's a bit of that smokiness, a bit of that very intense flavor. Now let's smell the tea leaves themselves. Yeah, I'm getting those very rocky notes. I get a smoky scent, but not smoky in a way that, for example, a charcoal is. It's kind of like using some sort of natural wood to make to make a campfire. It has a bit of that campfire scent to it, which I find is quite pleasant. I really like smoky notes in tea. I like smoky Tsingshang Xiao Chong, which some people like, some people don't. I personally like it quite a bit. It's why it's one of the teas that I like the most. And after that, I get a mix of very intense spicy notes. I get a bit of cinnamon. I get a bit of pepper. I get a bit of, for example, cloves. It's a very intense mix of spices, of smoke, a tinge of sweetness, but the tea is enveloped in a layer of boldness, which I like quite a bit. I really am fond of Bulangshan area teas, and this one is definitely from that place. Just by smelling it, the way I the way I perceive it, it has a very strong, very immediately perceptible, very energizing and grounding effect that I find very pleasant. So let's go ahead. I think that has cooled enough a bit. And now let's go into the notes of the tea. And while I wait a little bit just for it to cool down, I'm going to go into, of course, some more information on Bulangshan. Now, Bulangshan is a very vast place. While the overarching character of Bulangshan teas is powerful, nuances exist based on specific villages and micro terroirs. And historically, teas were often simply marketed as Bulang tea. However, as knowledge of this area has become much more commonplace and prices have soared, specific villages within Bulang have gained individual fame and, of course, price tags. They have become very expensive. The most sought after leaves come from distinct recognized villages, such as Lauman, which is characterized by teas which are very bitter and powerful. I haven't had a Lauman yet, but I've heard that it is a very special experience. Very nice. Then we go into Banzhang, which is a village formed by the migration from Lao Banchang, Old Banchang, due to population pressure, and it has historically larger harvests. If I had to say from which specific Banchang this one comes, it's obviously not Lao Banchang, because had it been Lao Banchang, this would have cost a lot of money, and it didn't. Now let's have a bit of a sip. Yeah. The taste is very immediately bold and full bodied. It feels kind of like an assault of concentrated flavor that goes into my mouth. There is a perceptible bitterness. It's it hits you in the face. But even though it's so intense, it's never harsh, it's never unpleasant, it never clings on, it never overstays its welcome. This bitterness acts, I believe, as a catalyst of sorts, as it dissolves almost magically within seconds of drinking the tea. The hui gan, the returning sweetness is very good. The bitterness begins by giving you a very explosive, very profound sweetness resembling that of honey. I make the analogy to honey a lot, but that's what it tastes to me. And it floods my mouth and rises powerfully in my throat. It just comes back, and it really stays that returning sweetness. It's very intense, but it's very pleasant. The soup, I would say, is on the thicker side. It's perhaps not the thickest I've had, but it is thicker than, for example, the soup of the Yiwu Sheng that I also have every now and then, or the soup of the Lincang Banzhang Pu'er that I have every now and then as well. This tea is it's good. I get wood, I get fruits, a bit of dried fruits, perhaps like the opening notes of dried raisins. I get a lot of wood. I get a campfirey smokiness to it. I get a bitterness, but it's not bothersome at all. It's not bothersome at all. And I know when I taste something that is bitter and unpleasant, when you overbrew a low quality green tea and you drink it and you get that very bitter, unpleasant flavor, you remember that. And this, it feels like it'll go into that point, but it just never does. This is a very good tea, and I like it quite a bit. If you like teas with a bit of character, with a bit of swagger, with a bit of swagger, sorry, uh, teas that aren't as as delicate, as soft, as well mannered, or at least apparently soft mannered as, for example, other teas like Yiwu tea, which tends to be very mellow and rich. This is hard hitting. It's bold, and I think that the age itself, I think, has worked. I think it has rounded out. I don't taste any green notes. I have tasted some greener Sheng cha, and the green notes that are present when you drink very young raw pu'er are not present here. So I believe it has aged at least enough to be decent. I mean, it's still from 2019. It's still, relatively speaking, very young pu'er. But I will say, if I were to buy another of these cakes, I would definitely age it, and I would definitely look forward to how it evolves over time. I would be very excited about how it tastes. In, for example, 15 years, 20 years, in a decently humid place, right? Not stored in a very dry place, but in a very humid place. Well, not a very humid, but a humid place. All right, I'll go into a third steeping, just to see the evolution. I skipped over the second one. I'll go straight into the third, just so that I can show you how it evolves. Because by the third, you're starting to get the full picture. All right, so let me fill this up. Oh, there we go. All right, let me try this. Let me put it here. Let me try this. It has gotten a bit wet. Open it. Is it focused? Yes, it is. Let's go for this third infusion. Let's see how it tastes. Okay, let's see. Okay, Banzhang Pu'er, third steeping. Let's see. It has gotten stronger with each consecutive steep, but it's still great. Now there is a note that has popped up, which didn't show up at first. It's a bit of a slightly mineral note and a bit of hmm, how can I describe it? It's sometimes hard for me to describe how something tastes. I try my best. Mm, it has a very camphor. Now I remember the word camphor-like smell. A bit of mintiness reminiscent of the resin of the camphor tree. It reminds me of that as well. That camphor-like note, woody note has popped up. So let's wrap this up now. I think this is a great tea. It's one of my favorites. And if I have to recommend a raw pour to someone and they say, "Hey, Pepe, I want to taste some raw pour," drink some Bulangshan tea. It can be from any area of Bulangshan, but Bulangshan is sure to give you a very potent experience that I surely like. It's great. And with that said, I hope that you have enjoyed this video. Thank you very much once again for listening to me. It's, as I say, always very nice to think that someone out there is listening to what I have to say. So that'll be it for now. I hope you all take care. I hope you all have a great day and see you next time. Bye bye.